The story of Cleopatra, Queen of the Nile. It was 69 BCE, in the sun-soaked land of Egypt, when Cleopatra was born into the powerful but chaotic Ptolemaic dynasty. The Ptolemies weren't originally Egyptian, they were Greek, descendants of one of Alexander the Great's generals. Despite this, Cleopatra would become one of Egypt's greatest and most iconic rulers. From an early age, Cleopatra stood out. Unlike her predecessors, who clung to their Greek heritage, Cleopatra embraced Egyptian culture. She was the first in her family to learn the Egyptian language, which helped her connect deeply with her people. She didn't just see herself as a ruler, she saw herself as the reincarnation of the goddess Isis, a protector of Egypt. When Cleopatra's father, King Ptolemy XII, died, the throne passed to 18-year-old Cleopatra and her younger brother, Ptolemy XIII. The two were supposed to rule together, but sibling rivalry quickly turned into outright conflict. Cleopatra was ambitious, intelligent, and determined to lead on her own terms. Ptolemy XIII and his advisors, however, had other plans. Cleopatra was forced out of power and fled to Syria, but Cleopatra wasn't the type to sit around and sulk. She began planning her comeback. Meanwhile, Julius Caesar, the powerful Roman general, arrived in Egypt. He was there to deal with Egypt's political instability, but Cleopatra saw an opportunity. She famously smuggled herself into Caesar's quarters, reportedly rolled up in a carpet, and presented herself to him. Her wit, charm, and intelligence impressed Caesar, and he agreed to support her claim to the throne. With Caesar's help, Cleopatra defeated her brother's forces and became the sole ruler of Egypt. Soon after, she and Caesar developed a personal relationship as well as a political alliance. Together, they had a son named Caesarion. Cleopatra hoped their union would strengthen her position and secure Egypt's power by aligning it with Rome. After Caesar was assassinated in 44 BCE, Cleopatra's future looked uncertain. Rome was in turmoil, with power struggles between Caesar's allies. Cleopatra aligned herself with Mark Antony, one of Caesar's top generals and a key figure in Roman politics. Their meeting was legendary. Cleopatra sailed to meet Antony on a golden barge, dressed as the goddess Aphrodite, surrounded by musicians and incense. Antony was captivated. Their relationship became both a romantic and political partnership. Antony and Cleopatra had 3 children and dreamed of creating a vast empire that united Egypt and Rome. But their ambitions alarmed Rome. Caesar's heir, Octavian, saw them as a threat to his power. The tension between Octavian and Antony came to a head at the Battle of Actium in 31 BCE, a massive naval clash. Cleopatra and Antony's forces were defeated, and they retreated to Egypt. With Octavian closing in, Cleopatra and Antony faced the devastating reality that their dream of an empire had crumbled. In a tragic turn, Antony, believing Cleopatra was already dead, fell on his sword. When Cleopatra learned of his death, she made her final decision. Legend has it that Cleopatra allowed an asp, a venomous snake, to bite her. She chose to die on her own terms, rather than be captured and paraded through Rome as a trophy of war. Cleopatra died in 30 BCE, marking the end of the Ptolemaic dynasty and the beginning of Roman rule over Egypt, but her legacy endures. She wasn't just a queen, she was a master of diplomacy, a symbol of intelligence and resilience, and a woman who defied expectations to shape her destiny. Cleopatra remains one of history's most fascinating figures, her story as timeless as the Nile itself.